Where are we going?
The cruise boat.
Oh, I see the tails. Hey guys, it's Elizabeth from Medero Green Moments, and today I'm going to be sharing with you a cruise review. Now the reasons why we love cruising is because it's all inclusive. There is childcare included, so you can have a little bit of mommy daddy time or grown-up time, whatever. And you can just get a chance to relax. I love that you don't have to pay for a lot of stuff as well on the cruise boat. I mean, you can, but most of everything what you need is included, and I love that it takes you to your destination. So those are the reasons why we love cruising. Now, this was our first vacation going with friends. We've always gone just our family of 4, or our whole family, like extended family, invited them to come too. And we had a blast. There's enough to do that everybody can kind of do their own thing, but you can also come back together and like meet up for dinner and then share your stories of what happened and what you do, and I love that. This was our first time also on the Carnival Ecstasy. We've been on the Fascination and the Fantasy before, and we've done those multiple times just because of where they were located. It was convenient for us. So all of these are part of the Fantasy class of ship. Oh, and we've also done the Victory. So I guess we've done 8 cruises now. Well, we've done a lot with Carnival. But this was part of the Fantasy cruise line, which we're extremely familiar with. It's the exact same layout of the Fascination and the Fantasy, if I'm not mistaken. And it has been renovated. So it has the Fun Ship 2.0 upgrades. So there's water slides, the waterworks in the back. There's a couple other upgrades that you'll see inside, and it's renovated. So it's not like a tacky main room where all the shows and things are at. They've redone it to be really nice, and the restaurants look really beautiful too. But it's a little bit older cruise boat. I think it was established 91, 93, I'll put it here. But we noticed this time on the cruise a little bit of downgrade in service. We weren't sure if it was this boat or Carnival as a whole. They didn't have chocolates on your pillows anymore. They only offered 1 turn down service. So normally they come to your cruise cabin and they will fix it in the morning for you, and then at night they'll put your towel animal on your bed, and then, you know, set up your bed for you, and then they'll put the chocolate on your pillow. And they didn't do that. They asked us which time did they want us to have that turn down service. And then the other thing, I don't eat meat, but one of the things we raved about to our friends before going on the cruise is that they could have steak and lobster, and it was all included, and that was pretty exciting. And then we get there and there's a $20 upcharge for it. Oh my goodness, they were like, guys, you told us. And I felt so bad because I'd never in all the years of cruising with Carnival ever seen that. So now it was a $20 upcharge. So those things kind of set us back a little bit. And we asked guest services what was going on. And starting October 1st, they made a ton of changes fleet-wide with all of the cruise ships. And so I think they're maybe trying to make more money or tighten the budget. I don't know. But those are things that are just those little special things that you love, and they were no longer included. So the first night we get on board, the Port of Miami was really nice. It was beautiful. And we got on relatively quickly, headed up to the Lido deck, and, you know, got the buffet and everything. And then one of the very first things I do is I check the kids program to see what's going on and when it's open, because we don't put our kids in all day. We just pick and choose the best spots for them and the activities that they really want to be part of. Or dinners at night, we always try to save a little bit of time each day for them to go to the kids program after we've taken them to the Lido deck to get something to eat quick for them, because they really don't care about sitting for a 2.5-hour dinner at night. They'd rather play. So the very first night we get there and we're gonna do that, and the kids program doesn't open till 8:30. So a little bit late for children to be in the program. We are on vacation, so they could sleep in, they can take their time. Ethan had to take a ton of naps during the cruise just because he was pretty tired. It was a little bit late, and they didn't get us out quick enough for us to even eat dessert. So that was a little bit bad. We had to, because you have to pick up the kids by 10 or they start charging you. So we didn't get to eat dinner. The second night we went to dinner, we planned so that we would have plenty of time for dinner. And we got there at 7 because the kids program opened at 7 that night. So we dropped them off at 7, and there was a huge line because it was the fancy night, I guess, the captain's night, and so everybody was eating dinner. Took us 45 minutes to even get a table, and then once we got in, it was close to 8, and they didn't have enough time for dessert. It was a 2-hour dinner just for appetizers and entrees, and it's like they were scattered, didn't know what they were doing. So again, we talked to guest services to find out what was going on. because we noticed just a few other things, that people were paired up in twos, and it was taking them a long time to figure things out. At the kids' water slides, which was such a blast. My kids are a little bit older. Ethan's 5 now and Charlotte's 8, so they can kind of hold their own. When they were younger, like 2 and 3, we had a couple of our friends, they brought their little ones 2 and 3, and they were on the little slides. And big kids were pushing them and pushing down the slides, and we had to go over there a few times to get them to stop it. Well, always on the past Carnival ships, they would always have someone there to watch over the slides. And there was a guy standing there with sunglasses on, standing like this against the wall and not even telling them. And I said, can you not tell them to get down? He's like, I did. Like, but they're still there. Like, that's your job, to make sure the slide is safe. So when we went to guest services to find out what was going on and what was happening, they said this is a training ship. I had no idea. Anybody else knew that the Carnival Ecstasy is a training ship? They said that everybody who's on that ship, or anybody who works for Carnival, has to go through that ship first. So they train there and then they go out. Well, I had no idea. So here we are expecting the same level of service for that ship versus every other. And we paid for a Carnival cruise regardless of whether it was a training ship or not. We didn't get the same level of what we were expecting or what we've even received in the past. So that was a little disappointing. Again, I didn't want to, damper it for any of our friends that were on there because this was their first time. And so, they didn't have another one to compare it to. So some of the nice things is that it was renovated. The water slides rock. We've been on the Victory and they only have one big water slide that dumps into the main pool. This Waterworks is really cool. It's on the back of the boat. There are 3 different kinds of water slides. There's a big giant yellow one. There's a racing 2 blue slides. And then there's the smaller kid slides, which there's 2 of them. So there's also water buckets and spray stuff, and the kids can play all there, and that's really where we spend a lot of our time. We make sure not to go on a cruise boat after we did the Victory that doesn't have water slides because the pool can get a little bit crowded, and so we really enjoy having that space for the kids. Let's see. We also loved the pizza. I think they've changed the recipe. It used to be like calzones and a different kind of pizza. It almost tasted frozen. And now, this time, it was really delicious. It was almost like a thin crust, and it really tasted good. The only downside is it takes about 20 minutes to cook. The guy there, again, I think because he was training, he had a job to do, and so he stuck with it. He would make his pizza, and then make the crust, make the dough, do another one until the whole row was full, and then he would start placing orders for everybody. So you'd have a line of 10 people, and he wasn't placing the orders or even making them until he finished making 20 crusts. So just those little things, it's like, you have a line of people, maybe you should help them and then make your crusts in the downtime. I don't know. I've never seen it like this before. The other thing I noticed, because we cruised in October and it was during the school year, is that this cruise ship was not full. Even at any time we went to any talk in the main room, I forget what it's called, Blue Sapphire, I think it was called. They were never full. We did bingo, we listened to a shopping talk. There was different things that were going on in there. The Hasbro game show was a lot of fun, and it was never full. The pool, normally when we are at a day at sea, the pool is so packed, it's like sardines in a can, right? And you can't even get in. So the day at sea, the very last day when we were on the boat, the kids could still get around and swim. So that's a bonus of going during the school year and not during the summertime or a holiday if you have kids and you want to just have a little more elbow room. The other thing I enjoyed too is the kids program wasn't so packed. And that just gives the kids more of an opportunity to play with things that are in the kids program and just gives them, again, a little more elbow room. It's nice to have a little bit of space. A week or a few days before, there was a hurricane that hit Mexico. And then it was 2 days before we got on the boat. And our cruise, although the hurricane had gone, it was up into Texas by the time we got on the boat from Miami. The waters, I don't know if that had something to do with it, were extremely choppy. Normally I find when you're on the boat, pretend I'm the boat, it's going like this just a little bit. You can just feel it a little bit. I mean, sometimes at night they're going a little faster and you can really feel it. That first night, if you're looking at that bar right as you're looking out over to the water, it was like this. It was just more than somebody who never gets seasick could handle. And I started to be a little bit green in the face. Never got sick, but I wanted our guests, I guess, our friends, to really have a great time. And I was really concerned about all of them feeling great. And we had somebody in the group we thought might be a little bit nauseous. And so, of course, we brought essential oils to feel grounded and centered. And they had like the bracelets, and I told them bring everything you could possibly need, because if you have to buy that on the cruise, it's going to be pretty expensive. Some other things I wanted to mention to you guys too. I'm not being extra hard on this boat. I still have the same standard I would for any Carnival cruise, but even though it was renovated, you could tell it was really, really worn. One of the elevators at all times was out of service the entire time. And the other three, when you would hit the button and it would arrive at your floor, it would go ding, nah. And so instead of a ding, like you're getting on the elevator, it was like the sound was broken. So you're like, do I get into this elevator? I mean, we never had a problem, but there was one of the elevators too, at the very top part, there are metal doors that would close at the very top part. It's almost like it was out of alignment a little bit. So it would scratch every time as it would go through. So I don't know. Our room too, we had the four of us stayed in a cabin with 2 upper Pullmans. It is not our ideal cabin. We usually love to have 2 adjoining rooms. Granted, we have done the 4 in a room before, but we figured we're gonna be with friends. We're not gonna be in the cabin much, which we weren't. And it was only 4 nights. It's not like it was a 7-night cruise and we had tons of stuff. 4 nights, you don't need much clothing, you don't need much stuff. But with the 2 beds down, which we asked for them to keep them down the whole time, so that way the kids had a spot to go if they were in the room. They weren't trampling all over our bed. But with the 2 beds down and our bed down in the middle, there wasn't enough room for anyone to even walk around or sit. It was very, very close for comfort. But I really enjoy having the 2 joining rooms. That's my favorite because you have 2 bathrooms, you have extra drawers for your clothing. I like that even more so than a balcony cabin, even though that sounds more luxurious. But I think it was a few $100s extra to get the adjoining cabin, and we weren't needing it because we weren't going to be there that long. But with the upper Pullmans, when we pulled the beds down, there was just some like rust and worn spots you could see, as well as in the closet there. There's just scratches and scrapes on the bottom of the floor. And then at night, every single night, and I'm not trying to complain, I'm just trying to give you guys an honest review. There was this, can you hear that? A tapping sound outside, and we didn't have a balcony. I'm wondering if the cabin next to us was a balcony, and because it was so windy, their chair leg was like constantly tapping. Juan went to the room steward and asked him if he could check it out or maybe see if we could do something about it, and he said no, that there was no noise, there's nothing they could do. And I just thought, every night, I mean, we've never had that. We've had ocean review rooms forever. I mean, a long time. We did love the location of our room. Our room was at the back of the boat. I always try to book near the back of the boat, and I'll tell you why. On a Carnival Fantasy class ship, if you're near the back, you take that elevator straight up to deck 10, you're on the Lido deck, which is where the pool is, as well as the food. So first thing in the morning, what are you doing? Getting breakfast. Lunchtime, dinner, snacks, ice cream, all that stuff. It's where we find we are the most is food. And then if you go up one more floor to the veranda deck, which is deck 11, that's where the water slides are. And if you walk all the way to the front of the ship, that's where the kids program is. So we love being right at the back towards near those elevators, not right next to them because you're gonna have a lot of foot traffic, but maybe around the corner close to it, because then you're just saving your steps a little bit. So that's my thoughts on the Ecstasy ship. I don't think I will go on that cruise boat again. If I had to pick my favorite out of the 4 that we've done the Fascination, the Fantasy, Victory, and the Ecstasy. Granted, we've done Fascination 3 times and Fantasy twice. The Fascination is my absolute favorite. It is clean. They are very, very with it. They know what they're doing. The water slides are great, and we just enjoy it. Now, the reason why we picked Ecstasy, and it was in Miami so far away, is because it went to Key West and Cozumel, and those are 2 of our favorite ports, and it was only 4 nights, which is what we wanted to do with friends because we had people who'd never cruised before and just wanted to make sure everybody would have a great time. So that's my review on the Ecstasy. Those are my thoughts. We had an incredible time. I'm being, really hard on the ship just because that's the level of expectation we have with Carnival. Will I cruise with Carnival again? Absolutely. We're thinking of maybe doing one of their newest ships, maybe the Breeze. They also have one that was called the Destiny, and then they changed it to Sunshine, where they cut out the back of the boat and made it like so amazing with a whole bunch of outside fun stuff. So there's some newer ships we want to try. We have never cruised with Royal Caribbean, and I've heard so many good things with them. So I want to do that again. But I think my ultimate is Disney. Like if you could afford it, it's like 3 times the cost of Carnival. It's incredible. Disney cruising is great, but Carnival, I find there's less to do on the boat, which gives us more of a chance to relax and sit by the pool and just enjoy cruising and seeing nothing but blue, which is my favorite. You just see sky and the water. And we did not have a bad experience. We actually had a really good time. So anyways, guys, that is my review. If you like this video, make sure you like it, subscribe if you're not subscribed, if you want to see more videos like this one, and I will see you in the next one. All right, guys, see you later. Bye.